Hello and welcome to another Raggy's Beer Review. So today we're going back over to Sainsbury's for a new beer on their shelves. It's not a new beer, it's a classic beer. But first time I've ever seen it in Sainsbury's. And literally in the last 15 years, I've never seen Batemans Gold or Yella Belly Gold in Sainsbury's. I've had it on cask as part of my big Batemans 2024 2023 2024 series of beer reviews that I did, even visiting Bateman's pubs, going to Lincolnshire and visiting the pubs. So anyway, this is Bateman's Yella Belly Gold, 4.5% gold beer. There we go. Like I say, first time I've seen this in Sainsbury's, and I've got to be honest, first time I've seen it in any of the big supermarkets. So, I'm not sure if it was cask only at one stage or Bateman's only at one stage. I can't remember, it's one of them beers. But anyway, so obviously pours golden, which doesn't really give the game away there, does it? So, and there we go. Quite a thin head on there, white head, sporadic carbonation going off. Let's read the back before I start partaking. So the ABV is 4.5% ABV on this. And I'll read what Batemans have put on the back of theirs, because, there are many breweries out there who brew a beer and put down, and this is a real dig at a local brewery who do this, but they put down single malt, single hop, smash, I don't know, mosaics, shall we say, and that's it. And it's like, yeah, what's mosaic? A lot of people haven't got a clue. If you know what the mosaic hop is supposed to deliver, then you've got a good chance of obviously knowing. But even the hop's not, that's the hop. The malt is not even mentioned either, and it's like, so what am I supposed to be getting? And yeah, they've still not changed it. They still don't tell anything. The vast majority of the population, and we're talking about 99% of the population, look at a beer, gold. This says golden beer, so they'll be thinking that it's gold, it's going to be like a citrus type beer, malty citrus, at least, there's a hint there. But, so anyway, our story is one of enterprise and innovation, always looking forward whilst remaining true to our family roots. Now with 5 generations and over 150 years of brewing experience, Bateman's is still fiercely independent. Honesty, creativity and gritty determination fuel our passion for our beers. This delicious thirst quenching beer is a golden pale ale brewed with Maris Otter Pale, Cara malts and a touch of crystal malt, along with a blend of American and New Zealand hops to give a floral, stone fruit aroma and a satisfying dry citrus taste. And that, at least the second half, the first half was obviously about the history, but the second half told you about the beer. And it's, I think it's very important to do that. 4 minutes in, I haven't even drank anything yet. So, crystal clear golden beer. So certainly not bottle conditioned. You have to be careful with bottle conditioned. And again, floral on the nose, citrusy, certainly floral on the nose. I have had this in multiple Bateman's pubs as part of my 2024-2023 series. I did a lot of Bateman's stuff and went out my way from holidays to go to Bateman's to come home. There's quite a few Bateman's pubs about, to be fair. Not in Nottingham, unfortunately. I actually do think there's an opening in Nottingham for a Batemans pub. But obviously in this day and age at the moment, God, it's tough being a pub owner, you know, especially if it's a tied pub. I know pub owners that are obviously to a certain brand or certain brewery, and they have a few random beers in, and there's stuff they want to do, but obviously the brewery owns the pub in reality, and you know, a lot of the beers come from the brewery, and maybe the other person that owns the pub, and it's difficult, you know. As a beer reviewer, as a beer person, I go to a pub. I don't go to a pub to drink the same beer week in, week out. I don't do that, you know. No. Most modern people these days will go to a pub, you know, and there's pubs out there, and the Crown Inn in Beeston is a great pub with this sort of style. They have permanent cast lines for them. Then they'll have 8 guest cast lines, which are changing all the time. And then they've got keg lines, again, which are changing all the time. And, yeah, I mean, whoever owns that brand, I don't know who owns it. I don't, you know, that's beyond my interest. I only go to the pub to drink the beer. You know, who owns the pub doesn't really bother me. But, you know, that's the way to manage a pub. And that's why we go to that pub all the time. Not to mention that our friends are down there as well. So, you know, it's another great excuse. And the beer's not the cheapest there. It's not the cheapest beer. No. But it's kept brilliantly. And there's always something new on that you've never had before. Alongside beers that are there week in, week out for people who like that sort of thing. And I suppose in some ways it's, you know, you've got to appease people who like beers the same beer all the time. Then you appease people who want something different. And then you appease your craft drinkers as well. And it's balance. So, Yella Belly Gold. Didn't think I'd see this in bottle. I'm sure this is the first ever time I've drank this in bottle. And for me, an easy drinking floral beer with a nice citrus element. So, would I drink this again? If I see it, then yes. You know, being in Nottinghamshire, certainly predominantly Nottingham, Beeston area where we drink, we don't see Batemans for some reason. I have no idea why. I mean, I would love, absolutely love, beyond the bottom of my heart, to see Victory Ale on cask locally. Triple XP as well, you know. And 2 of the beers that I can pluck out my head. But, yeah, you just, not in the pubs I go in anyway. Which is surprising because we go in quite a wide variety of pubs. But it is what it is, I suppose. You know, I'm not the pub people. I'm not the brewery. So, you know, I'm just somebody who drinks beer. So, yes, I would like to drink it again. Out of 5 for me, yeah, very nice golden beer. Good 4.2 out of 5 for me. Very nice. Thank you for watching. See you soon.